What's up, guys? My name is Trickstrap, and today we are going to be doing my Sky Striker deck profile for Master Duel. Now, it's a little bit inoptimized, just because I didn't have the ultra rare gems to craft like more upstarts and such, but this is a good, I have some good budget options in here that you can play. So starting off with cards that you should of course be crafting just in general first. 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 3 Effect Veiler. All excellent hand traps. Maxi, you know, it just says they should stop their turn unless they're killing you that turn, or they have Ash called by something like that to stop it. The 3 Ashes, you know, it's Ash, one of the best cards. And then Effect Veiler, because the access code package, it's the worst of the hand traps in my opinion, and it's summonable off of Selene to go into access code. So that's the main reason why you're playing that one. I mean, besides the fact that it's just an extra hand trap, stop your opponent from making plays. Other monsters, we're only playing 5 more main deck monsters. We have the 3 Ray, of course, the best one, the best main deck monster that you have. You attack with it, quick effect, link to an extra deck monster. So, generally the play is, I mean, always the play is, you should not be making a play other than this, unless you can attack with her. And it's, you attack with Ray, and then you go into, not this one, you go into Hayate, because this can attack direct, and then you send a Sky Striker card from deck to grave. So generally you'll send Engage, and then, you know, your after battle phase things. You go to main phase 2, you link some more, you get some more cards, and that's how you do it. And then Rose, because sometimes it's just nice. It lets you go into a lot of stuff. You can make some crazy plays off of that, and it's light type. So you can make that into the Light Charmer down here, which is really cool. This card's a really good play because it just makes Selene for free. If your opponent has a light monster, you just go into Selene, and then boom, there you go. You have access code. For the spell lineup, we are not playing any traps in this deck, only spells. So for the spell lineup, Regeki, if they don't negate it, it breaks their monsters. The entire monster board going second. It's an excellent going second card. Going first, this card sucks, but it's an okay card to play. You also get it for free, which is why I included it in the list. It's a really good budget option because it's free. Monster Reborn. If they stop your Ray play and you need an extender, or you can reborn into a Veiler to make access code, it is there. It is an excellent card for extending plays in this deck, and I think that honestly it's probably a necessity. You also get this card for free. Next we have Upstart Goblin. This should absolutely be a 3 of. I do not own 3 of this card, unfortunately. This is, I think, a 3 of is a must for this deck with this card, just because it gets spells engraves for all your striker effects. It's the most efficient way to do so. We got our 1 Reinforcements of the Army. Searches your Ray. What else do I need to say? It searches the best monster in your deck, and like the only monster that you're playing generally. But you know, I mean, if you already have Ray, like all your Rays that you need, they're all in grave or whatever, you can also search Rose, and make some pretty spicy plays with that. So you have a search no matter what. And then we got Terraforming. This just searches your field spell. It gets an extra spell in grave. You can't say no to an extra spell engrave in Sky Striker. So that's you definitely want to search the field spell because it's also an incredible card. To Engage. This card should not be at 2. This card is Pot of Greed, but you get to choose what half of your draw is. All the Sky Striker cards say if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you're playing all these after you link away with Ray. So you summon Ray, attack, link into your extra, and then main phase 2. Or main phase 1 if it's like turn 3, 4, 5, whatever turn past the first turn it is. You're playing all these cards because you only have a link monster. You don't have a monster in your main monster zone. So this card is just literally search a Sky Striker card, and then if you have 3 or more spells, you draw a card. So that's why I say Pot of Greed, but you search half, because you search and then draw. But incredible card. It can be recycled with Kagari. You can search it on end phase with Shizuku. Absolutely insane card. Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburner. I had to think of what the last word was. I was like, what is this card? I can't remember what the name is. But yeah, pop a monster, and then if you have 3 or more spells, pop a spell. Spell or trap. It's pop a back row. Honestly, if you can't afford some of the ultra rares, I'd say play 2 of this card and then 2 of this card. Because this card is the opposite. It's pop a spell or trap, and if you have 3 or more spells, pop a monster. Jamming waves. So if you need budget options, you can make this deck out of a lot of just like common, uncommon, rare. It's just so cheap to make sometimes. A lot of it's free. Like, you get a lot of ultra rare gems to start out with because you get so many free gems, and you're crafting hand traps anyway. So having options in the main deck for spells and such that aren't ultras is really good. Playing 1 Lightning Storm because I don't have Harpy's Feather Duster. You should be playing Harpy's Feather Duster over this card. This card should just be that. End of discussion. I mean, it's a good... You get it in the shop as the bundle, so it's a good replacement for it, but Harpy's Feather Duster is the way to go. And we got 3 of the field spell because, wowie wow, this card is incredible. It helps you get spells engraved, and it lets you search the top 3 for a Sky Striker card. You target a guy or a card, any other card you control, so it can be any card on your board. And then you look at the top 3 cards, you add a Sky Striker card to hand, and then you send the targeted card to the grave. So, excellent for feeding your grave spells. We got 2 of this card. Multi-roll. This card should not be real for this deck. This is probably one of the best spells you have in the entire deck. It says that you can send a card that you control to the graveyard, and then for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects in response to the spells that you activate. And at the end of the turn, you set Sky Striker spells from with different names from your grave up to the number of Sky Striker cards that you activated that turn. So a lot of the time, you're going to be activating 3 to 4 Sky Striker cards. So you're going to be just setting your entire back row up. And it's crazy because you can set all the quick play ones that interact with your opponent on their turn. You can also just set Engage so that you have a play for next turn. It's an incredible continuous spell. I don't know if 2 or 3 is correct. I think 2 is correct because I think 3 might be too cloggy. But for now, I'm playing 2. If anyone has reasoning for 3 or a different number in general, 1 or 3, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And next, we have 2 MST. It's just budget back row removal. This card's a rare. It's free. And the 2 Chalice. It's also free. It's a rare. And it's a monster negate. Free monster negate. It's not hard to craft. So it's an excellent choice. Fills your graveyard. Stops your opponent from playing. Excellent card overall. Then we have 1 Hornet. Because this card is also just an extender. If your Ray dies, you can't get it back. Your Rose dies, they get banished. Something like that. You always have something. You have this to go into a link. You summon a token and then boom. We got 2 Widow Anchor. This card is crazy. It is basically Chalice, but if you have 3 or more in your grave, you take control of that monster till the end phase. So it's Chalice, but you also steal their monster. We got Eagle Booster. This card's cool if they try to remove your cards and you need, you can target Access Code Talker with it. You make Access Code, and then you Mecha Eagle it so that they can't target it. You basically just have an access code that they can't climb. It's pretty damn good. And then we have 2 Sharks. I know a lot of people are only playing 1 of this card, but I think that banishing cards in this format from the grave is probably one of the most important things you can do because it cuts off so many lines of play. So that's my reasoning for playing 2 of this. If you want to play 1, go for it, but you absolutely have to play 1 of this card. Even just a 1 of this card is incredible. Hitting a card out of their grave, it's basically like Called By, but it doesn't negate. And you can also summon the card. If you have 3 or more spells, you summon the card that you banish. So you can target like a Veiler of theirs or an Ash and summon it to your field. And if you have a guy on board, you go into Halki Fibrax to make access code talker, so this card can also just be a free access code. And then 1 droplets, because I only have 1 droplets. You want to play 3 droplets. Droplets is how you break boards. It's a very expensive card though, because it's an ultra rare, but damn is it good in this deck. So out of all the cards, I'd say craft 3 Upstart and 3 droplets for your spells, absolutely, because they're so important. And now onto the extra deck. We got 1 Kagari, of course. It gets your Sky Strikers back from your grave. And it also gets pretty big if it's late game. You're not going to summon this card late game. Usually you want to go into it on turn 1, get your stuff back set up, and then go crazy on them. But late game, this card can get pretty big. 3 Shizuku. On end phase, you add a Sky Striker from deck to hand, but it has to have a name different from the cards in your graveyard. So it's an interesting card. It's definitely an incredible card because it's literally just add a card from deck to hand on end phase. It's so good. 2 Hayate, because you're probably only going to need to do this twice. A lot of the times you only need to do it once and it's fine. But it's just sending like Engage or something so that you can get it back with Kagari on main 2. You have 2 Kana. This card is really good. If they remove, like, say you have the Shizuku up that you left, they remove it, you summon Ray, they go into battle phase, you Ray effect, link into Kana, and it prevents one of their monsters from attacking. So it can save you from dying in a lot of situations. And then we have, of course, the access code package. We got Halki Fibrax, Selene, and access code. Halki Fibrax summons a tuner from deck. So you usually summon Valor because Ash is a little bit more important. But either one, you can summon either one. You go into Selene. Also, this card is a machine, so I don't know if this is a zombie. So you have to you summon Valor actually because you need a spellcaster for Selene. So summon Halki Fibrax, special Valor, go into Selene. Selene effect just specials a guy from your grave. I always just summon Valor because it doesn't really matter. And then you link those 2 into access code, and then you have a big guy that pops their board. And usually in this deck you have a lot of links, so you have unlimited pops. You're blowing up their entire board. And then we got 2 Fire Charmer. You can also make that off of Halki Fibrax. I don't know why you would. Off of Halki Fibrax specifically. It's a good card to go into though. It lets you make infinite. That's it. It just lets you make infinite. It also this card lets you make Selene off of an Ash in their graveyard. Zeke, just because it's another Sky Striker. It's a good one. It just lets you do things. It lets you do. It banishes a problem card. That's basically what it is. A lot of cards say they can't be destroyed, so it just it outs those types of cards. And then we've got one name that I can't pronounce for some ungodly reason. Lena, something. Probably Lena. I don't know. But this card summons their Valor to make Selene. So you have a lot of ways to go on access code. That's basically what the extra deck is. It's all of your Sky Strikers and then ways to go into access code. So if you have any suggestions for this list, please let me know. Specifically cheaper cards. I'm out of ultra rare gems, and those are very hard to get. So if you have any cheap options that I didn't think of, super rare or lower, please let me know. I would love to hear your ideas. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button and leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next one.